Hello and welcome to the Khalid's Times Facebook Live IPL show. This is your one-stop destination for all things Indian Premier League. Today we are missing our regular anchor Fiza. So in his place, I have somebody else to discuss cricket and IPL with. Welcome, Mr. Anirban, to our show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So
Glad to
how
be
are you
here.
liking Anirban, being a cricket fan, the matches that have been happening every evening, sometimes over the weekend? We have two matches every day. So are you enjoying it?
Well, very much actually. And especially the feature about this year's IPL is that all the matches, or nearly all the matches, are extremely close. And, those cliffhanger finishes, it just builds up, keeps on building up till the last over. It's a lovely spectacle. It's just absolutely brilliant.
Keeps on getting better and
Keeps
better.
on getting better, yes.
True. Talking of spectacles and last over finishes, high scoring matches. We had two matches yesterday. And the first match was Chennai Super Kings versus the Punjab Kings, which again both the teams scored 200 each, and we had a 400 match, 400 run match, and it went to the last ball actually. Then the second match again, Mumbai Indians versus Rajasthan Royals. You would have expected Rajasthan Royals to have the upper hand, but Mumbai pulled it off again. A high-scoring thriller went to the last over. So let me start with the Mumbai match because they probably would have been in big trouble if they had lost that match. And to be very fair to them, they did remarkably well. Actually, when you look at the scoreboard, they chased down 212. I mean, nobody would have expected a struggling Mumbai team, even though they were playing at home, to pull that off once, thanks to that amazing innings and amazing 100 from Yashasvi Jaiswal after Rajasthan Royals put on 212. So, what was the thing that impressed you most about Mumbai is the way they chased down the total?
Well, firstly, it was a like another cliffhanger of a match, and when Jaiswal was hitting them out of the park, I thought Mumbai is done for. That's it. 214 on the board. This young guy comes in, blasts it all around, and I thought, well, Mumbai is not going to win this. And when they started chasing, and Rohit Sharma got out so early,
Yeah.
and that was like such a soft dismissal. I was so disappointed because I like Rohit Sharma, I like the way he plays, and the fact that he couldn't perform on such a big occasion for the team, I was gutted. I felt that that's it. It's curtains for Mumbai. This is going to collapse in a heap. But every player came and contributed. Every player. It's just small contributions, but meaningful ones. Whereas in the Rajasthan Royals innings, you had Jaiswal with 124. That was half their entire, or
Total.
let's say more than half their
More than
entire
half of, more than, yeah.
of their entire total.
Yeah.
And the next highest score was from Joss Butler. It was 18, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
extras contributed 25. So you can imagine what an important contribution this young lad had from the top of the order.
Yeah.
And but it just goes to show you, cricket is so much of a team game.
True.
That
Absolutely.
when it came to the Mumbai Indians chasing it all down,
Yeah.
everyone 30s, 40s, quick fire innings, and the finish by David. My God, we've seen some hot finishes. This ranks right up there with the hottest of them all this time.
Interestingly, they needed 17 runs in the final over.
Yep.
So nobody at that point would have expected the match would finish in the first three balls.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I thought, well, it was coming down to the last ball finish as we've seen it. And I thought, okay, 17 of the last over, it's doable. This guy is really middling it, David. He's really middling everything. So if he gets one or two boundaries, he starts with a boundary and they run a few and then one more boundary here or there, 17 is achievable. But the way he did it, just 3 straight hits and you're home. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Amazing finish, yeah. And a little bit of trivia there. Team David was born in Hong Kong. He played a few international matches for the Hong Kong national team. If you don't know, Hong Kong do have a cricket team,
Have an
a
international team, yes.
national
Yeah.
cricket team, and they're at the associate level. They're pretty decent at it. I mean, they have played also Asia Cup cricket. They qualified for the Asia Cup
Right,
cricket
yes.
once, and they ran India close actually in one of the matches. So right here in the UAE about 3 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago. So Team David played a few matches for Hong Kong, even though he was born to Australian parents in Hong Kong. Then he moved to Australia, and he has been good enough to be picked by the Australian team. And yesterday, with those 3 big hits, to be fair to I mean, to be very honest, actually, it was poor bowling as well.
I would agree. Yes,
Holder,
the
yeah.
first ball was. I mean, the first shot was still good, but the other two,
Yeah, it
just
was.
as you know, as the famous Jeffrey Boycott said, dollies.
Yeah, you would expect experienced campaigner like Jason Holder to do
To really
much better.
put it in the spot when
Yeah,
required, but he
yeah,
put it in the wrong spots for
yeah.
both those balls.
It was pretty. I'm sure Rajasthan Royals think tank and the dugout would have been pretty
He
disappointed.
might have got a talking to at the
Yeah,
end of it.
pretty
Yes.
disappointed with that. Yeah. So anyway, we had the first match. That was the second match yesterday, and that win was very crucial because for Mumbai. So if they hadn't won that match, they would have been in trouble, because there are too many teams jostling for that, fighting for the top four positions right now. We have Gujarat Titans in number one position on 12 points, then Lucknow, Rajasthan, and CSK and Punjab Kings all on 10 points. It's just that these teams are being separated on the basis of net run rate. And now you have Lucknow on the second spot, Rajasthan on third spot, CSK on the fourth spot, and Punjab in the fifth spot, all having 10 points. It's just the net run rate which is separating these teams. So Mumbai, after last night's win, they have 8 points now. They're in the seventh position. So it was a very important win because, mind you, despite being in seventh position with 8 points, Mumbai, they are only still behind by 4 points to the table toppers right now. So anything can happen. So every win is crucial at this stage. We have gone past the halfway mark, so every win is crucial. And last night's win from the Mumbai Indians in front of their home fans against one of the better teams this season, which is Rajasthan Royals, it was a very crucial win. So similarly, Punjab Kings also did remarkably well. I did you manage to get a chance to watch the match, the first match yesterday?
Well, I caught bits and pieces of it, snatches of it, but that was another very high-scoring game.
Yeah.
And like other high-scoring games, that was thrilling to watch as well. I mean, especially as Ritu, you are somebody, you're in the thick of sports. I'm sort of a more of a casual lay observer. So to me, what strikes out, what's the most striking point of this year's IPL is the way the batsman, it's like hitting a six is nothing these days.
The bats are so good.
Yeah, the bats, I mean,
the bats are so
the
good.
sheer technique of swinging them. I mean, when Jaiswal was hitting some, over square leg and over mid wicket, it was like, it was almost effortless. So that is the amazing, that's the amazing thing for me. And that was another thing that was, in the Punjab Kings match.
Yeah, true. There was also one bowler that struck me was Mathisa Pathirana. Remember, we were watching the Sri Lankan bowler. He hasn't played much for Sri Lanka, but he will remind you of a certain you-know-who, Lasith Malinga. His bowling action, slinging action, very difficult to pick. And Dhoni, because Punjab were chasing 202. So it was 201. They were chasing 201 because Chennai made 200 batting first. Devin Conway made 92, went in vain. Ruturaj had another good match. So chasing that total, Punjab, just to remind you, Pravsimran Singh made a brilliant 42, a quick fire 42. The dangerous Liam Livingstone made 40. So they basically set the tone for the Punjab chase. But then they lost their way in the middle and went towards the back end of the innings. Dhoni used his resources pretty well and he got in somebody like Mathisa Pathirana. I mean, he bowls very similar to Lasith Malinga. Very difficult to read. Read his the delivery is very difficult to pick with that action actually. And if somebody likes him and he's bowling at 140, his average speed is 140 plus. So no matter how set you are, so for a batsman, so it's very difficult to pick somebody like him. And they had lost a few wickets, so they had then Saruk Khan, the Punjab Kings big hitter, so he came, even he was struggling. So then Sikandar Raza, the Zimbabwe cricketer, born in Pakistan, he wanted to be an Air Force pilot.
Well, he was flying high yesterday.
He wanted to be an Air Force pilot and he couldn't become an Air Force pilot because he had an eye problem in Pakistan. So it's not that is compulsory. You need to have a good eyesight to become an Air Force pilot. So what he saw yesterday was the gap on the last ball. They needed 3 balls from this very difficult bowler. So he saw the gap towards the deep fine leg boundary. So he kind of made room for himself and he played the ball, guided it over there. And would you believe it? Actually, we were talking that this might go to super over, but he clinched it.
He clinched it, yes.
With 3 runs actually, and they needed 3 runs to win, and quite. He actually scored 13 of 7 balls, and it's very important. I mean, T20s, we often talk about the 70s, 80s that the batsmen hit. These are the sort of innings that
The vital ones, the
vital,
small vital
the vital
contributions,
ones,
yeah.
yeah.
Exactly
So
like what David did in the other match. Yeah.
true, absolutely. So Sikandar Raza again, Punjab Kings are right now in the 5th spot after that win because again, probably nobody would have expected Chennai to lose that because they had that momentum, So they did remarkably well, Punjab Kings, and Dhoni was yesterday a bit disappointed with his bowlers, but when you have very smart and intelligent cricketers like Sikandar Raza coming towards the back end of the innings. So it's anyway, it's not a bowler's game. We just spoke about the way
it's not.
Jaiswal he
It's
was
not.
hitting.
Yeah, but I thought that guy, this young man from Sri Lanka, was like this Malinga clone. Pathirana. Well, I don't want to be uncharitable to him. He did a fantastic job. But he just, it was a pressure situation. And Sikandar Raza handled it extremely well. That last shot, just scooping it up, lifting it over square leg, just to gather those 2 or 3 runs. He was aiming for the boundary, but then they ran 3. So it was all the same.
It almost raced to the boundary, and the fielder did remarkably well to pull that off.
That was a desperate dive at the end. That was a desperate dive. It was too little, too late.
Too little, too late. Yeah, it was. So 2 amazing matches yesterday. 2 high-scoring matches. I'm sure the cricket fans, the IPL fans, enjoyed so much. Their Sundays must have been amazing to watch those 2 matches. And today we have 1 match because we are back to the weekdays, so we just have 1 match today. As you know, the double headers only happen on the Saturdays and Sundays. So today, who do we have? We have Lucknow Super Giants, who are right now in the 2nd place in the points table, who have 10 points after 8 matches, and they will be playing at home in Lucknow against the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Faf du Plessis is the captain, but last few matches, I'm sure all cricket lovers who have been watching IPL regularly, they know that Faf isn't captaining the team. He's not leading the team because he has got an injury. But the injury isn't so bad. I mean, it's not bad enough to stop him from batting. So he's coming on as an impact player. So in case today we'll get to know in an hour's time. Right now it's 4:30. So within an hour they will be going out for the toss. So we'll know who will captain Bangalore today. Is it Faf? But apparently according to the reports, if Faf doesn't recover completely, so he will continue to play as an impact player. In that case, Kohli will continue to lead. So the thing about this match, what strikes me is that Lucknow in their previous match scored 257 against, I can't remember exactly which team. They scored 257. So that was the highest total of this season. But the key point here is that Lucknow's home ground, the surface has been very slow. Okay, so that's where the medium pacers who varies their pace and the spinners who are crafty, and Lucknow has got some very good spinners in Ravi Vishnoi. Is a tremendous young leg spinner. So they have that advantage of having that kind of resources to exploit those conditions. So what strikes me here that RCB is a top heavy team, and they are heavily dependent on Kohli, Faf du Plessis, and Maxwell getting those runs at the top of the order. So they don't have that middle order. They don't have a crafty batter in the middle order, and they don't have a big hitter in the lower middle order. So if it's going to be another low-scoring match, so it's going to be very interesting. And mind you, RCB also has a good spinner in Wanindu Hasaranga.
There you go. Yes.
So it's going to be a good contest. So what do you think?
Well, firstly, I would say there is a certain advantage to playing at home, even in the IPL. With all your fans rooting for you, gives you a certain spring in your stride. So, and Lucknow are one of the top teams right now. They're on form. So I'm inclined to give it to Lucknow at this moment, but I think that Virat Kohli, well, if anyone hates to lose, it's him. And it's not going, the script is not going according to plan for him. He has a stated aim of winning the IPL
RCB.
with RCB. So he's going to go all out, and he hasn't performed to his own high expectations, his own high standards in this IPL so far. And he's coming off the back of a great international 100. So he was expecting great things from himself.
Yeah.
So he's going to go all out. I'd say that I'd give Lucknow the edge. But if Kohli gets into his stride, and he would desperately want to get into his stride, if he does so, then I think it's RCB's game. And as a Kohli fan, I just hope he does.
That's very interesting. As a Kohli fan, I mean, where would you put him among the most favorite batsmen? That you have seen in your life. And I know that you were a bit into the old school of cricket, like Kohli is a good. He plays very classical cricket in T20s as well. He's not one of those guys who will go for big shots. He's very crafty, and so it's so beautiful to watch when he's in full flow.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I'd rate Kohli very highly in terms of technique. Well, I'm not a cricketer, I'm not a coach, I'm just a lay watcher, but I've been watching the game for a long time. So I'd say that if you have the fundamentals of technique, which is honed and built on the practice pitches, which is honed and built for Test cricket, you can transfer those skills into any form of cricket. I mean, what comes to mind right now is a tremendous innings, I forgot where he played that, by Rahul Dravid. Rahul Dravid, the wall, he's known for his defense, and he scored a 50, and I guess somewhere in the balls that he took were somewhere in the 20s at one point.
In the IPL or for India?
No, this was in a one-day.
For India, he did play with a few of those blinders.
So that goes to show that your technique, a classical technique, is no impediment to scoring quickly.
True,
absolutely. And Kohli is the living example of that.
True.
So he does it all the time with a straight bat, usually with a straight bat.
True.
And he doesn't hit a shot in anger. He just places them. He just hits them, where the fielders are not there.
True.
It's just a pure skill.
Yeah.
And I think that I would rate him as one of the top. Well, I wouldn't still, at this stage, I wouldn't want to call him one of the top 5 that I've seen, but we will see at the end of his career. So far, I'd say he's definitely the top 10 that I've watched. And I also, in this August list of the top 10, I'm comparing him with the likes of Sunil Gavaskar, with the likes of Viv Richards, with the likes of, let's say, Steve Waugh, Ricky Ponting. He's right up there.
He's right up there. Amazing player to watch, Virat Kohli. Nothing can be said more about him. We'll always run out of adjectives and words, and we can't praise him enough. RCB fans would be hoping that he just brings his A game to Lucknow today.
And I would go so far as to say, Ritu, that I'm not being uncharitable to Lucknow, but this is Kohli's game to win or lose. Well, that may be going a little too far, but yes, in my estimation, he is the dark horse. He's the one who will make the difference. If he clicks, then, and he's due to click because he hasn't clicked that well for a long time now. A long time is in a few matches now. It's his game. He will be the X factor in the game.
The thing that reminds me that Kohli, he's been slowing down against the spinners. He's getting very good starts in the power plays, him and Faf, but Faf continues with the same momentum if he survives the power play overs. But in terms of Kohli, there have been stats also on Cricinfo as well that he kind of doesn't have the same fluency.
Exactly, I saw those stats as well.
So that would be something that would be concerning the RCB fans, the Indian fans as well, who are Kohli fans.
And knowing Kohli, he knows those stats as well.
Yeah, obviously.
And he's a fantastic player of spin. He's a fantastic player of every kind of bowling. So he would want to rectify that. The first person who would want to rectify that more than anybody else is Kohli himself. And probably in the slow pitch that we have, maybe because the ball is going to come off slower off the turf, maybe it's going to set him up in the initial overs to face the spinners a little better. So I'm expecting great things from the man.
Just to, before we round this off, I just want to finish this off with something that the former UAE cricket captain Ahmed Raza Raja, he just retired. He told me once about something very interesting about Virat Kohli.
Okay.
Uh, that IPL after COVID was brought to UAE,
Yeah.
brought to the UAE
Exactly.
because India couldn't host it, and some of the UAE cricketers were invited as net bowlers by some of the IPL teams.
Right.
So some went to Mumbai Indians, some went to RCB. So Ahmed Raja is basically a left-arm spinner.
Right.
Okay, so he spent about a month in the RCB camp, and that time it was all in the bubble.
Okay.
So he told me something about very interesting about Kohli. One day I was talking to him over phone for something, and he said, "You know what? I was again playing a practice match for the RCB reserve team, and on my other team was the main RCB team. So Kohli was batting, and Kohli had been trying to practice one particular shot that he wasn't getting it right in matches for a long time. And in that practice, against a net bowler, basically, who is not a regular bowler for the RCB team, he finally perfected that shot.
Okay.
And the kind of joy that he got, he punched the air. He said, "See, that's how much they practice. That's how much they try to perfect their art." He said, "That's what I took it back when my stint was done with RCB."
You know how they say, I mean, what they say is genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. So that's Kohli perspiring.
True.
And what we see is the presentation of the genius.
True.
We rarely get to see all the effort that goes behind it.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, we're just truly lucky to be witnessing such absolute magicians with the bat and the ball. And they're bringing the same level of skills to a format like the IPL as well. So, thank you so much joining today, Anirban. It was lovely having you.
Very much, Ritu.
Lovely to have this conversation with you about
yes.
cricket, not just about IPL, about cricket as a whole. We hope to continue this chat more often with you
Hopefully,
as we go ahead, go along with the season.
Lovely,
And thank you all of you for joining us once again. And thanks to my production team, to my colleagues, Ihab Kadir and Sihab, for helping us set up. And thank you, and see you tomorrow.